Greetings, brothers and sisters. Hello and welcome back to Eva's House of Spirit. This is my second video of the early morning today. My sleep cycle has completely flipped. For some freaky reason, I am in this like reverse sleep thing where instead of being awake in the day and asleep at night, I am somehow awake all night and asleep in the day, and it's not very good. But I have decided that I'm going to stay up all through the rest of this morning and until it's time that I should be going to bed this coming night. Thursday night. I'm just going to power through it as tired as I am. I will just drink endless cups of coffee and not lay down or anything like that. I need to fix my sleep cycle because this just isn't working for me, and I have to go back to work on Friday, and I can't be like totally like zing in the middle of the night and asleep in the day. It's just not going to work. Anyway, what I thought I would make this second video about is I'm going to do a show and tell with some oracle. Wow, my hair looks like hell. I'm going to do a show and tell with some oracle decks. Sorry, my hair's totally not styled. I look like total shit right now. Anyway, yeah, show and tell with some oracle decks. Two of them are sort of playing card oracles, and then the other three are something else entirely. So, with that said, let's get into this. I'm going to show you a few decks here. The first one I'm going to show and tell about is the Gypsy Witch fortune-telling playing cards. A lot of you are probably familiar with these. You may have seen these for sale in various places. And again, another thing I want to throw in too is I didn't just buy these. I've had these. I just haven't yet done any kind of like, hey, let me tell you about these. And the reason why I'd like to tell you about these is because I know that there are sometimes people that are looking to buy either oracle decks, or in the case of my tarot deck video I did, which I will link in the description of this one. Sometimes you want to buy a deck and you just don't know anything about it. All you're getting is just a picture of it and a very brief description from the retailer, and you're like, man, I wish I could just kind of like see the cards and have an idea what it's like. So I figure by showing you some of these oracle decks I have, if you're interested in any of these specific decks, if you've been thinking about them, at least you'll have sort of an idea of what exactly they're like, a little better than just, the retailer's very, very limited showcasing or description. So with that said, again, we're going to look at the Gypsy Witch fortune-telling playing cards first. And basically, this is an oracle deck that is basically pretty much a Lenormand deck. If you're familiar with the Lenormand oracle, there are a bunch of cards. They're numbered. They have particular images, and the way that you're laying them out, depending how close or far certain cards will fall to the querent's significator card, will reveal things about the querent's like current situation or future situation or what have you. And of course, with the deck, they do give you a little like instruction thingy, and it gives you instructions for a short reading, a long reading. There is a little diagram on the back that is a little helpful too. Of course, my instructions got a little bit beat up, I guess, from putting the cards in and out of the box, but whatevs. Another nice thing about this deck, besides the fact that it is a Lenormand deck, is that it still retains the playing cards, the imagery of the playing cards as well. And so you can use this deck two ways. You can use this as a playing card deck to do divinations with playing cards, or you can use it as a Lenormand deck, so you're kind of getting two different decks in one, which is nice. There is, I believe, 2 Joker cards in this deck as well. I'm pretty sure it's 2. I forget if it's 1 or 2, but Yeah, there's two jokers. There's a joker and an extra joker. Oh, wait a minute. No, is that two or three? Wait a minute. How many jokers are in this deck? Excuse me, I stand corrected. It's been a while since I've used this, actually. This is not a deck I use often, but I think... Are there three or are there two? Oh no, there's, I believe, three jokers in this deck. Yeah, there's three jokers in this deck. You have this joker, and then you have some extra jokers. It's pretty interesting. For some reason I was thinking there were two. Like most decks have two jokers, it's actually three. And yeah, so that's pretty much the idea. As I said, these are Lenormand cards blended with playing cards. Oh, that one's upside down. Sorry. You know, it's got the image as in the Lenormand deck, and then the description. They all kind of have that going on. The backs of the cards. Let me show you what the backs look like. That's the design on the backs of the cards. It's very cute. Little witch in her cauldron with a little cat. Okay, so yeah, this deck has the upside to it that you kind of get two decks in one: Lenormand and playing cards. So that's pretty cool. And the next deck I'd like to show is by Ana Cortez and C.J. Freeman. C.J. Freeman is Ana Cortez's father. I believe C.J. Freeman is no longer with us. I believe he has passed away, if I'm not mistaken. And this is the Playing Card Oracles Divination deck. This is a cool deck for people who want to read playing cards, but kind of would prefer to have a little more imagery to sort of scry into and give them feelings. Because playing cards, ordinary playing cards, for a lot of people, they're very hard to read. Unless you're very strong in, let's say, your numerology, and you know you're really good with your associations to the elements and the suits, you know, kind of as they relate to one another and things like that. But these cards are so cool because these are playing cards, but they have imagery. They have imagery to them that you can like scry into. It sort of gives you feelings, you know. It's not just a real dry deck. Let me show you just a few other images that are pretty cool. You know, this is just a really good deck for people maybe that are a little more used to tarot, but who would like to learn to read playing cards. What else can I show you? This one's pretty cool. This one as well. This is one of my favorites. Very beautiful. And let's see. This one is really, really pretty. I love this one. And the backs of the cards. Let me show you the backs of the cards. These are the backs. They're very, very, very pretty. And of course, there is a little booklet that comes with this as well. Not that I'm one for, let's say, book meanings, but there are some layouts given in the back of this little booklet, you know, and I think it's something at least to flip through for some guidance as you're sort of acquainting yourself with your cards. So this deck is definitely one that's pretty good for those that would like a playing card deck that would be a little more scrying friendly, and thus, I guess, intuition friendly. So let me just close this up without damaging the booklet. How my booklets get screwed up, I think, is when they come to the front of the box, and then that little tab in the front, when I'm trying to close the box, it kind of pushes down and folds into the little booklets, so I try to put the booklet to the back when possible. Anyhow, so that's two decks right there, two oracle decks, but they're more along the lines of playing cards. The next deck I would like to show is Animal Messages. Seek Inspiration from Your Animal Guides by Susie Green. This is a deck I've had for a little while. I think this one is sort of okay. It's not, I don't dislike it, but it's a deck that I try not to use the book as much with. When I draw an animal card, I try to go to other sources, be they online, be it meditation, you know, I try to find information on the message of the animal spirit from other places, because while this book is not a horrible resource, I feel it is a little bit limited, though, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what it is. The definitions, the meanings they give you in here just feel kind of a little bit narrow to me. So here's like the artwork on these cards. That is the fox. And there's also little things underneath, like here's the deer. And it says underneath, take note of the messages in whispers and secrets adrift on the breeze. Like, it gives you little brief meanings under the name of the animal. And there's all sorts of animals. We have the bee, black panther, you know, so many different kind of animals. The bat, you know, it's pretty neat. And the backs of the cards, they look like this. Pretty cool imagery. But yeah, when I utilize these cards, I will try, I will try to hunt down the meaning and the message from other sources. I mean, I will look at the book, but I continue on and seek out online and in other places a little deeper interpretation for myself of what these animal oracle cards are trying to convey to me. I sort of put together not just the limited definition or indication that this set gives me, but I try to tap into how the particular animal that comes up makes me feel. What do I personally associate with it? And then I'll kind of, you know, as I said before, go online, talk to people, whatever, and just try to find out what that animal is conveying for me at this time in my life. So it's an okay deck. I don't use it probably as often as I could, but it's not the worst. I mean, it's really not the worst. So it's not a bad one there. It's not a bad one. And now I'm going to show you another one that I think is really, really cool. This is the Green Man Tree Oracle, Ancient Wisdom from the Green Wood. And this is from John Matthews and Will Worthington. This is a really cool deck and book. This one I do utilize the book for. I do, but you could probably seek out other sources of information. I'm pretty sure you could combine this deck with any kind of knowledge of the Ogum that you might have, because essentially the trees in this deck are also, they also coincide with you know, the Celtic Ogum, you know, oracle. So if you have knowledge sort of the Ogum already, this deck would probably be something that would work well for you. So this is the backs of the cards. Very simple, but it has some nice imagery on there too. This is the blackberry. That's the blackberry. Nope, that one's upside down. That's the rowan. And let's see, this one's also upside down. This is the honeysuckle. This is ivy. Some really pretty imagery. This is the birch. And you will notice too in the imagery in every card there is a face. They do kind of personify the trees, but I think it's really well done. Some faces are a little easier to pick out than others. The apple tree. And let me show you maybe one more. Let me see, where is the willow? I believe there's the willow in here too. Ah, the willow. In this case, the face is kind of like hidden right in there. Yeah, some of the faces are a little easier to pick out than others. Anyhow, so yeah, you could just draw a single card. You could do a 3-card read for yourself, but there are also some spreads in this book, so that's helpful as well. In the section titled "Turning the Leaves, Receiving the Wisdom of the Woods." And there are obviously a whole bunch of pages that give the meanings for each card. First it will show you, let's say, the card. It'll show you the Ogum symbol. Then it gives you the Green Man Wisdom, which is a sort of brief snippet or a summary, a little brief summary. And then it will give you the divinatory meaning. It'll tell you about the lore of that particular tree. It'll give you other information. And they also give you the Latin name of the tree too, which is good. And here it even goes into the Ogum alphabet and all that jazz, which is good to know. So, yeah. I would recommend this for especially anyone who is really good at the Ogum, but this is a deck that anyone at all could really utilize. I like this deck because I have found its insights to be pretty accurate, and I do feel that trees have a really, really deep wisdom about them that if we allow ourselves to heed can teach us much. Finally, I would like to show you a different oracle deck. This is called the Answer deck. This is one of my favorites. This is a pretty cool deck. You can either use it in its in the format that is designed, you know, for this deck. There's a layout. It comes with a little layout sheet like so, and it tells you where to place what card and what the cards mean. You kind of put this down, and at least until you learn how to spread the cards in this way. It gives you like sort of a guide how to lay them out and what they're supposed to mean. And there's a little guidebook in here too, and it also reiterates that way to spread the cards. But you don't have to only use that one layout, and you don't have to rely on the meanings in the little book. You can just use these however you feel you want to use them. You can do a 1-card pull, a 3-card pull, any kind of layout you want to do. But these cards are a little different. They give you a... They utilize black, white, and red in their color scheme. They will give you a simple picture, and they will give you a keyword. So they're pretty straightforward in what they're telling you. For example, this card, this is Solitude, is pretty straightforward. But how you would interpret, like if that is a positive or a very like sad sort of solitude, would be up to, you know, the circumstance, I guess, what's going on, how you would intuit that. Here's another one, Change, and those are leaves. in the fall falling off of a tree. Or let me see, what else is an interesting one? Diligence. And there's a man panning for gold. They're very stark and to the point, as I think I've said before. And there are some cards here too. For example, you have brown-haired man. You know, you have certain cards just as figural cards as well. A dark-haired woman. Good fortune, pretty simple. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much here. There's faith. These cards are, I don't know what it is about these cards, but these cards really do resonate with me. I have found them to be pretty accurate too. Some people don't like how simple these cards are. I don't mind the simplicity, because not only do you have the direct explanation of what it's supposed to convey, but then you have an image that you can also feel out, as well as kind of looking at the cards in relation to one another and seeing like the story that they all sort of create. And now the backs of these cards, they look like that. Very cool design there. So this is a deck that I would recommend if it resonates with you. I personally think it's a pretty damn cool deck. And it is the answer deck. So that concludes my show and tell here today of some of these oracle decks that I happen to have. And I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, I thought I would show you these because some of you might have been previously looking at some of these decks and kind of like, I don't know if I want to actually get that. I don't know if I like the art. I don't know, you know, what I think about it. But yeah, I hope this was a little helpful. I hope it was enjoyable for you to watch. I will have my tarot deck show and tell video in the description of this video. And with that, I'm going to wish you blessed Be Ashe. You have an awesome morning. And until next time, until our next exchange, I'm going to say bye-bye for now. You stay awesome.